have entitled Dudes, we have new merch. So I feel like we should shout that out. Cassie, this was your idea to put this on merch, and actually just brilliant.
Yeah, I love it. I love capitalizing on the douchebaggery. It's wonderful. I love it.
It might be one of my favorite pieces of merch that I've ever created. It's
I'm getting a shirt. I'm getting a shirt for sure. So
I want to wear a shirt like the next time we do a live event, like our
one star.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So we did get a 1-star review. We actually got another 1-star review from another very angry gentleman this last week,
and apparently he did not see that explicit rating.
And we're shrill. If you didn't know, we're just the vocal fry on this podcast. But no, we got a 1-star review where he called us superficial and said that it was junk food for the brain. And we were like, well,
it's actually,
that's
a tagline.
This is an NPR. So
it's actually very, very accurate. And I love junk food. I think this is that. I mean, there's plenty of people who like junk food.
Yeah. So we'll take it. So if you're interested in seeing that new design, you can head over to our merch shop on our website, myworstdatepodcast.com, to check that out.
But I'm so excited.
Yeah. It
looks great too. Yeah. I might get the new phone case.
Yeah. Dr. TJ Fossil has really... He's going to be mad that he's not able to capitalize.
I know.
Further.
He's going to sue us for...
We're going to get a new review.
For a percentage,
That's awesome.
Okay, so listen. I saw this tweet a while back, and it has lived rent-free in my brain ever since. I think about it every day. And it is... And I thought about it today because I took a shower. I got out of the shower... and then immediately was like, I need to make coffee. So I got out of the shower, dried off, and then just walked into my kitchen to turn on the Keurig machine. Mm-hmm. And it made me think of this tweet, which was that you either have a naked window neighbor or you are the naked window neighbor.
I'm the naked window neighbor.
I am the naked window neighbor. Like, I walk around naked in my apartment, and it has occurred to me on more than one occasion that I'm like, and in the beginning, in my new apartment, you guys know there's this big window behind my dining room, like a dining table and chairs. And I convinced myself, for whatever reason, for a while that like, nobody can see me through that window. But then when I'm like walking like home or whatever, and I look up and I'm like, oh no, you can see everything in that window.
Definitely see it.
And
but it's second floor.
I've definitely been walking around naked in that area. Like on the weekends, just like I'm getting ready. I don't know what I'm going to wear yet. Maybe I have like a thong on, but that's it. Just Moulin Rouging it in my own house. Yeah. And it just made me think that I'm like, I wonder how many of my neighbors have seen me naked at this point.
They're just like, they just call it the naked apartment.
Yeah. Dude, I've gone out on my back patio.
In the new
naked.
I was going to say that's probably safe, but then you have those neighbors that could have that window from the upstairs that could right in on you. They're probably like, God damn it.
Yeah.
These people again.
Yep.
I used to, so I am kind of anti-naked walking around the house, but that's probably because I've always had people in my home until it was just Chris and I, and I was free balling everywhere. Now Dylan lives with us again, and I had no longer free balling.
No, thank God. I mean, I'm glad. I'm sure he appreciates that.
Got myself a robe.
Yeah,
wrapped it up.
I mean, the thing is, I own robes. I own multiple robes,
but
and I'm
just.
Else in the house. But there's no one else home, so I'm just like, why?
The freedom.
Like, why do you need to put clothes on? But maybe I should not stand directly in front of a window.
No, I love the lies that you tell yourself too. No, that's just what, like, no one can see me.
This is fine.
This is my apartment. Nobody can see.
It's like those little kids
apartment.
When they play peekaboo and they put their hands over their face.
I can't
to hide.
see you. You can't see me. Situation.
Got a whole ostrich in the sand situation over here. Like, I can't see you, so you can't see me.
What else is going on this week?
I have to bring this up because we last night, Keegan and I played darts at our friend's house, and we were talking about Keanu Reeves and girlfriend, because I looked it up and apparently they did not get married yet.
Oh, it
but
was
I
on the
think-
cover of some magazine in the checkout aisle that said that they had got married, and she looked like she was in a wedding dress,
Okay,
but
maybe.
maybe not.
I didn't find anything about it online, but that doesn't mean anything here nor there. The big picture of this is that people are making such a big fucking deal about her being like
His age
quote
appropriate.
unquote age appropriate,
Which is his age. I don't understand
know.
why we're saying age appropriate. Like it's his exact age.
Yeah.
yeah, and also it's so shocking to think that somebody would want to be with somebody who is of the same generation as them. Like, I honestly, Chris and I talk about this all the time. I'm like, I could not date somebody younger than me. I feel like as much as I have friends who are younger than me, and I feel like we have so much in common, it's such a rarity to find. And when you're with a partner, you want to be able to have like those inside jokes,
The
like
same references.
yeah, same reference
Exactly.
points,
Yeah.
things to talk about. It always reminds me of Best in Show when it's just like, we love soup. And we could talk or not talk for hours.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what do you talk about with somebody that you don't share? I mean, I guess it's not unheard of to, you and Tony have a separation of years, but you have so much in common.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. First of all, I just want to go on record and say she's 47. He's 56.
Okay, come
So
on.
he's
Come
she's
on.
still considerably younger than him.
Yes.
So okay. First things first. She's not even. I thought they were the same age. They're not. There's still an age
like
gap there.
9 years.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
a big difference.
And yeah, because Anthony and I, it's an 11-year age gap.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. In my opinion, whatever works for you works for you.
Totally.
Right? Like my grandparents, my grandpa and my step grandmother have been married for. They got married in 1997, so they've been married for over 20 years now.
Yeah, 24 years.
And there is a 23-year age gap
Oh.
between the two of them. He's about to turn 80. He'll turn 80 this year. So, and for them, that works. It works really well.
Yeah.
He's happier than he's ever been. They work very, very well together.
They're very
and,
compatible.
And they're very compatible. And like that can happen.
Yeah.
And I understand that. And a lot of times, yeah, age is just a number.
Sure.
You're as young as you feel, et cetera, et cetera. So all of that on the table. But what I will say is this weird fascination,
That's right.
especially within Hollywood, with older men needing to date women who are 30 years younger than them. And oftentimes when we say that, it's like the Leonardo DiCaprios who are like pushing 50 dating
You're like, come on.
19-year-olds.
Right.
Right? Like, and again, not saying that it couldn't work.
Right.
Not
Right.
saying that there's not a massively mature 19-year-old
Sure.
out there. But whenever it is a consistent pattern of that is the only type of person you are seeking, like the Scott Disick's who are constantly just going
Right.
younger and younger and younger. Like right now, I think he's dating Lisa Rinna's daughter, who's like 19.
Oh my God.
Right.
No.
Like
Come
whenever,
on. She's like a child.
Yeah, I mean, and when it's a pattern like that, where it's like
Right.
that's the only type of person you're
It's
seeking.
just Hollywood in general, I think, doesn't know how to deal with a 40-year-old
That's right.
woman.
That's where my point is.
They
Yeah,
don't. They're
right?
like, we can cast you as a grandma, I think. You know,
Right.
like they just like, there's no.
There's like an idea that you can't be sexy after a certain age.
Yeah.
And I remember it was Julie Louis-Dreyfus and a few other women did that.
Patricia Arquette.
That's right.
Yes.
That did that kind of semi-funny video where they're like put out to pasture basically.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like these are women who are viable, beautiful,
Hot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Julie Louis-Dreyfus is
She is
absolutely gorgeous.
gorgeous. So's Gillian Anderson. I
they're
think
getting
is
better
hotter
with age
now.
Thank
Yes,
you.
they're
Thank
getting
you.
better with age.
Yes.
And I think that option needs to be put on the table because I swear to God, the second I turned 30, the things I started getting, I got, oh, yes. You
got
guys
your
will
ARP
you
sign
guys will
up?
you'll find this funny. I got an audition as a 30-year-old. I got an audition for an empty nester. I'm not kidding.
That's ridiculous because you look like you could still be in high school musical.
Thank you so much.
Honestly, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's how it is. Like, I mean, I've been saying for years, and I should just do it already, that, I should start an Instagram that is just ridiculous casting notices that women in particular get, because it is things like that. It's either like, they don't know what to do with women who are kind of in the middle. They don't know what to do. I started getting
empty nester. I'm
Yes.
so shook.
I'm so shook right now too.
I don't even know what to do with that
Yeah.
statement.
Well, I mean, it makes sense if you put it
can
on
I play your grandmother in this? Jesus.
It makes sense if you put it on, like, you know, if you're following the things I've been getting for years, because I looked very young when I was 24, I would say. Like, I definitely still could have been playing high schoolers at 24, and I was getting mom like castings, which is fine. Like,
Sure.
lots of people are moms at 24, but I was like, oh, okay, it's begun already, that they have to fit you into
mold.
this particular place. Whereas
This is why people lie about their age.
Anthony is just now getting all of the dad stuff, right?
That's crazy
like
to me.
just now, you know.
Wow.
Mr. Salt and Pepper himself.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Oh my
it's just
God.
there is this wild double standard
Yeah.
in Hollywood that is just so bizarre. I mean, I remember them saying that they were going to cast somebody in Wolf of Wall Street, but Maggie Gyllenhaal, I think or somebody. They were going to cast somebody, but they were like, she's too old, so they cast Margot Robbie instead, who was like 15 years younger
Wow.
Oh my
than
God.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Whoever it was, they were still younger than Leonardo
Yeah.
DiCaprio. They just didn't have as big of a gap.
Wow.
It's
You know,
Yeah.
Sally Field talks about it in her book about being cast as Mary
Tom Hanks'
Todd.
mom.
Oh, no. Okay, that too, but Mary Todd,
Yeah.
and she was like, you know, she's like, I know that I'm older, I know that, but also I think Mary Todd was
older than Lincoln.
than
Yeah.
Lincoln himself.
Yeah.
And it was like, so she really had to fight for that role. Like she's like went after it with such fervor. Like she was just intent on getting this role, which was absolutely perfect. And she was spectacular in that. But it just says everything that we think, because that casting could have easily gone to somebody who was probably too young to make it reality, you know, or, you know,
Well,
just,
we've also talked about Julia Roberts being
Okay.
cast as Harriet Tubman.
Oh my God. Well, Hollywood. Am
I right?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
this town is nuts.
It's something.
What I will say about the Keanu relationship, I mean, apparently they've been dating for years.
Yeah.
I think he is a king.
Yeah.
King.
I want him
True
happy.
king.
I love it.
I'm happy. I love
And
it.
she's beautiful, by the
She
way.
is gorge. And I hope that they're happy. And
Yeah.
she can, you know, keep his bed warm until I meet him.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, that would be a good fuck, marry, kill Keanu characters.
Oh
my God.
Yes.
Oh, we
God.
got-
We got Neo.
Yeah, we have
John Wick.
That's right.
Ooh.
That's the other one I was going to say. And then we also have Bill and Ted.
Oh, shit.
I mean, the
We're
three
doing
major.
this.
All right, we're doing
three-
it. We're doing
the
it.
three major Keanu roles.
Yes.
Oh god.
Okay. All right. Well, oh my God, his puppy. His
Oh.
puppy in
John Wick.
And he is hot in that movie.
He's- and that technically is his quote unquote oldest role, right? So
Yes.
that's the most recent where he is the oldest, and I think he is
Very hot.
smoking hot.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, I will say I had a huge crush on Ted in Bill
Yeah.
and Ted the first
Yes.
time I saw it. I was,
Yes.
I think, in middle school or early high school, and it was my
Yeah.
first real, I think it was before I'd even seen The Matrix. It was my first real Keanu exposure
Sure.
situation. And then I think I saw Point Blank,
I was
and I was like,
I was
"Ooh,
gonna say
shit, we should have done
Point Break.
oh Lord, oh my
Oh,
gosh.
shit, Johnny Utah. Fuck. Oh no,
I think
we have to.
We have
We
to do,
have to,
we have
because
to do Johnny Utah.
We got to
Yeah.
do Johnny Utah. So
Okay.
it's got to be John Wick, Johnny Utah, and
Neo.
Matrix.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
gotta
Okay.
be. That's, because
that's
look,
more appropriate.
it is more appropriate because like I love Ted,
But
but
yeah.
like you know we've all outgrown Ted. I think
Well,
is the
no, I
situation.
mean, I was gonna fuck him.
oh shit.
he would be
because-
fun.
I'm going to kill Neo.
Yes.
okay.
Oh God,
Nobody
yes.
wants to date
Yeah.
or fuck somebody with the savior
Okay.
complex.
No.
You know what I
it's-
mean?
And that
It's
lifestyle
true.
seems very
It's-
exhausting. I'm
it
like,
seems like a bummer.
when do you ever rest? My God,
No.
like no,
Yeah.
I don't have the energy for that at all. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. And then
Do it, girl.
I'm gonna marry John Wick.
Yeah.
You know he
Mhm.
can protect you.
Yeah, I
That's
can.
very true.
And Johnny Utah is gonna fuck your brains out.
That's also very true. He's going to
Absolutely.
teach you how to surf. I love it.
He's friends with Patrick Swayze.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't want to
For you guys.
I
not
don't
so much
want to
for me.
marry an FBI agent, but I will definitely fuck him for sure. I'm going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I haven't seen John Wick. I should. I know I should. I haven't seen it. But I do imagine that is also, all of these are kind of exhausting lifestyle choices. Like, they're exhausting partner choices. Because it's like, this man is always going to be out vigilanteing all over the city, right? Like, sometimes I just want to stay home and watch a movie, but you have to go out and, fight bad guys constantly. Fine.
But he at least has a nice dog you can hang out with.
Well,
true.
he did.
And he got a new one.
Spoiler alert.
Well, he got a new one.
Okay.
But he's a dog person. He's an animal person.
Yes.
An animal lover.
Yeah.
We love to see it.
Great house.
Yes.
Beautiful house.
Yeah. Nice cars.
That's right.
Yeah. No, I mean, he seems like, I feel like being married to John Wick is like, he has finally defeated all the bad guys.
That's right.
And he's ready to relax.
He's red wine Keanu now.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, whereas Johnny Utah is like Corona
Yes.
Keanu. Corona Light
Man,
on the beach.
You guys are mixing it up for me because I was pretty set that I was going to marry Johnny Utah. I mean, he went to the Ohio State University.
Ooh.
I mean, played football for my team.
I really do feel like I could go either way. I could marry Johnny Utah because he is fun
We're
and
talking
more
about chillaxed.
and more laid back and like very California vibes.
Yeah.
He
would fit. I feel like Johnny Utah would probably fit into the friend group better than John Wick would.
Yeah,
True.
I agree. I agree.
John Wick seems like he would have a little bit of social anxiety. He wouldn't like big groups.
Like
as
he's
much.
good if you get
He's
him in
not
a
gonna go to
quiet
karaoke with us.
You got to get him in a quiet corner, and
Yeah.
he's good at like one-on-one conversations. Like I could, if he was your husband and Christina, I could have a really good one-on-one talk in a corner booth with John Wick.
He's
but
not very gregarious.
he's not
gonna be
joining the
life
mosh
of
pit.
the party.
No.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it for me. I think I'm going to marry Johnny Utah, man.
I think that's a good
I
idea.
think it's a good move for me.
You better, you're gonna fuck John Wick.
I am going to fuck John Wick. Rao. And how?
Yes.
He is dead sexy, sexier, and he's angsty. Ooh, he's so upset.
I actually think I'm going to change my answer. I think I'm going to marry Johnny Utah as well and fuck John Wick for that reason. Just because I'm just like, I like it. I like the moodiness, and I bet you it's really good in bed. But I don't want you staying
I want him
awake
to go karaoke
at night
with us.
Yeah.
I want us to have those beach fires with our friends, drinking Corona Lights. I'm fine with
Yes.
that.
See, I feel, and this is how narcissistic I am. I'm like, I could fix it.
I'll change it.
Oh,
I'll change
girl, you ain't fixing that. You ain't fixing John
it. There's
Wick.
something deep seated in there.
No,
I'm
honey.
like, I could do it. I could fix
It
it.
ain't gonna be.
Oh my
no.
God! Speaking of "Fix You" by
Oh, no.
Coldplay, that just got in my head. Did you see Alex Rodriguez's like breakup
No.
Instagram post to Jennifer Lopez?
No.
He made
My
this little
God,
like
tell me
video of like pictures of them together.
Oh, weird.
And in the soundtrack was "Fix You"
Stop.
by Coldplay.
Shut your mouth. That's so
Baby
embarrassing.
pterodactyl noise. That's how embarrassed I am.
Dude, this is how you know that breakups fuck with your brain
with everybody
in the worst way.
Yes.
Because like what? Like
Yes.
what? You're a
During
grown
our break,
man.
we have to look
we
at
have
this.
to watch it. Yes.
My skin is crawling.
I hate that. Oh my
I-
God.
wow.
I don't like
well,
that.
we broke the news when it looked like they might
That's right.
be getting back together, and we as a podcast,
we
even
just
though
knew. We got the phone
superficial,
call.
we were like,
Just
no,
superficial.
No.
no,
We're like,
it's
don't
not-
do it.
It's not.
It's not a healthy
gonna work out.
relationship.
Yes, so you can count
Maybe we
on
are an-
us for our insights.
Maybe we are an advice podcast.
J-Lo listened and she was like, you know what?
They're right.
Like, thank you for helping me see the light.
J-Lo, we got you, girl.
We got you, girl.
We got you, girl.
Well, we do have a new patron.
Okay.
So I want to give a big shout out to Natalie Marie for joining us. Same middle name. Hi, girl.
Yes.
For joining us on Patreon.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome,
And
welcome.
She joined at a level 2 where you get that episode early. So she can't
ad-free.
ad free. She can't wait. We got you, girl.
We're
Every
here for you.
Tuesday for you.
That's right.
And this is My Worst Date Podcast. I'm Christina.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Cassie. That almost sounded like a cut-in because, but
Right.
but it wasn't this time because we actually remembered.
Yeah.
That-
But
that
right
was
in
good.
under the wire.
Yeah.
Just barely made it.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Sounds
Yes.
good.
And we're back. So usually I would go first with stories this week because I have the Tainted Love story. But we're going to mix it up a little bit and Cassie is going to kick us off.
Yeah, here we go. So this I got from Reddit, and I think it's freaking hilarious. Maybe, and it's one of those things where Christina, sometimes you do this, you're like, maybe it's just me. I think it's fucking funny.
All right.
Okay. And then we have a lot to talk about here, ladies.
Oh,
shit.
dear.
Okay. So it was a hookup more than a quote unquote date. We had lots of friends in common and really disliked each other. But a lot of alcohol somehow made it seem like it would be a good idea to have sex and work out our issues with
sex.
each other.
Hate sex.
Hate sex.
It can be good.
hot.
Yeah, it can be
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a method to the madness here, right?
Well, I feel like sometimes it can be hot because, like, you really don't care if that person
How they
likes you or how they're like you can just like let free or like whatever. You
Yeah.
know what I
Give a
mean?
fuck.
Yeah,
Right,
you're
yeah.
not worried about like how you look or how you're coming across. You're
No,
like,
really.
we know what we're doing here.
That's
Okay?
right.
We're getting our needs
I
met.
hate you. Let's fuck this out.
Yeah.
He shared a house with some other guys, and I had to wait in the hall for what seemed like forever while
sorry.
he, quote, prepared the room.
I'm in a waiting room.
Yes.
No.
Sex waiting room.
Are
is
there
the hallway.
highlights magazines? I can look
Exactly.
at?
Precisely.
These chairs aren't very comfortable.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest.
Totally bad 70s porn candles everywhere, literal red satin sheets, pink lampshades, etc.
Whoa, where did it come from? Do you just have it in your closet
Just
for
hanging
hookups?
out.
Like you have pink lampshades in your closet.
Satin sheets, and he lit a bunch of candles to have
It's-
hate sex.
To have hate sex.
Can I also say, it's
seems
very
very
romantic
extra.
hate sex. And also, like, I feel like candles are overrated
So
in
overrated.
the bedroom.
Yep.
Like, for me, I'm like, this feels like a fire hazard.
Okay, thank you. I was just gonna say, does it take your head out of it a little bit?
A
Sometimes
little
you're
bit, like-
is this gonna catch
Yeah,
our
we
whole place on
can't.
fire?
We can't bang that headboard because now I'm worried that these candles are gonna fall.
That's right.
Like, yeah, no.
We're gonna catch this whole place on fire, and it ain't be because our hot sex. It's
I'm gonna have to
these candles.
run out of here naked, wrapped up in a satin sheet, waiting for the firemen to get here. Like,
Slippery satin sheet. And then the firemen arrive and they're hot, and that slippery satin sheet
Just slips right off.
Okay, different scenario. All right. The quote action was about the same level as the decor was. It was as smarmy and as staged as any sex that I'd ever started.
Is there a
having.
hidden camera? I feel like this is like the set of a porn movie.
That's right. She's like, I stepped into a porn,
Yeah.
a 70s porn. And about 5 minutes into it, his girlfriend knocked on the door. I did not know he had a girlfriend. Oh, no. He panicked completely for good reason. He jumped about 10 feet off of me, which I think of Bridgerton when he just yeets off of her and ran to the bedroom window and started shooing me out of it.
You got me fucked up. I'm going out a window. No.
Bruh. You literally made your own satin sheet bed. You can lay in it. Okay.
Yes.
This is if you hadn't taken 10 hours for me to come in here in the first place, we would have been done already.
Here's what I would do. Okay. I'd open the door and be like, hey, sis, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Your man's trash. And then
Deuces.
All right.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, though, I also jumped off the bed and went out the window and ended up in a bush naked with my car keys inside. I lived in the country and drunk driving wasn't yet something anyone who paid attention to. So I sat there freezing. It was October in Canada.
No, man.
No.
Well,
October in Canada, naked in a bush.
No,
Stop
no, no,
it. Stop it. Oh my God.
While the two of them started bonking. Eventually, it got too cold.
Well, I mean, okay, he had to. I guess that's where it had to go because how else is he going to
Yeah.
explain why there are
Candles and
candles?
satin sheets.
Like, oh, I knew you were coming over. I made the bed, pulled out the candles.
Oh no.
Gross. And here's Wonky was in somebody else's Jadge
Ew.
just seconds before.
Did you just call it his wonky?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because he is wonky.
Oh my
no.
God.
Eventually it got too cold and I could see my keys on the dresser just to the side of the window. So I started to ease the window open. He saw me, so he was taking great pains to make sure that she was facing away. I got my keys, grabbed my undies, which were also on the dresser, and ran to the car.
Okay, wait, though. Hold on. Is this the most unobservant girlfriend of all time? Like, you don't notice another woman's panties, like, on
Right
the
there.
dresser?
And keys.
He's like, close your eyes. Come into the satin bedroom.
You know what? He would have, like, a blindfold. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This type of guy
God.
would.
Ran to the car. I had some shorts in there and just threw a horse blanket around my shoulders and proceeded to drive home.
I want to be stop next to her at a stoplight and I just like tip my hat.
Yeah, ma'am.
Sis.
Ma'am.
The real what the fuck moment of the night was when I was sitting at a stop sign a few blocks away.
Christina pulled up.
A stop sign waiting for it to turn green.
Oh no.
A cop pulled up behind me and asked what I was doing. And when I said I was waiting for it to turn green, he told me to drive slowly and waved me through the intersection.
Wow.
God. Needless to say, that guy and I never became friends. And he and his girlfriend broke up a few days later when she found the rest of my clothes under his bed.
Of course.
I'd been-
He didn't even clean up.
Sir. I'd been going back and forth about telling her. We had a lot of the same mutual friends, but she found them before I came back to town. She and I did become friends a year or two later, and apparently the candles, lampshades, porn thing was restricted just for me. Or wasn't just restricted just for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've got no idea what happened to him, but she's doing just fine.
Oh, good.
Oh, Lord.
Happy ending without that guy.
For fuck's
Dude,
sake.
Driving home with a horse blanket on, just sitting at the stop sign.
And that cop, like, what?
Oh my God.
Waiting for that stop sign to turn green.
But, like, what?
I
Like,
can so
girl.
understand that. And we've all been at the stop sign waiting for it to turn green before.
oh,
Haven't
jeez.
we? No.
Oh my God. No bueno. Okay. Well, I got ours from a listener. She writes in, she says, "Hello, everyone. I finally binged all your podcasts, and some unfortunate memories have been stirred up of embarrassing dates.
We're sorry.
It happens.
No,
Yeah.
perfect. This is what we're here for.
I thought of a story in which both I and my date have shame receipts.
Amazing.
Okay, here we go. This happened 6 years ago, and I can't wait to put more distance between myself and the event.
wow.
I was the youngest employee at 18 and had just completed my first 6 months hosting at a local wine bar. Oh, when you're 18 and working in a restaurant, girl, this is trouble. I was making my rounds through the coworkers around my age.
Well, there you go. That's what happens in a restaurant.
That's right.
After just breaking up with my high school girlfriend. By the way, I'm a pansexual female with she, they pronouns. I'm also a Taurus, if you're curious.
Perfect.
Okay.
Good to know.
Awesome. I
like Taurus, by the way.
Yeah.
Taurus and Pisces get along real well.
There you go. I set my sights on someone who was slightly above my age range. I thought maybe 24 or 25. Kyle picked up on my casual flirting.
We've all had a Kyle.
I know.
Everyone's
it's
had a
not
not
not a good name.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, sorry.
Picking hot.
I've had bad Kyles. So, picked up on my casual flirting and took the bait, asking me if I wanted to come over to his place after our shift. Since I was a host and he was a server, I was cut first. I ran home and showered, redid my makeup. I made sure to wear my new sexy black lace thong I bought myself after moving out of my mom's house.
Amazing.
Finally, a few hours later, he texted me the address. It was 45 minutes away, which was annoying, but I reminded myself that it was because I lived on campus and not just his fault.
45 minutes.
It's always 45
It's always.
Always.
I pull into his neighborhood and realize it's really nice. Like the city he lives in has some of the highest property values in my state, and the houses were all pretty big and completely finished. completely finished.
That's good.
That's good. I was surprised considering he was only a server, but hey, who am I to judge?
No,
And
it's your parents' house.
I was
Yeah,
going
100%.
to fuck my coworker in his hopefully big rich bed.
Oh, honey. That's
I text him saying I was
does
there.
he have satin sheets?
And he comes out to meet me. He had a dog behind him, and I love dogs, so I got kind of excited. Again, though, I was surprised because he had never mentioned having a dog. Kyle said, sorry, he just needed to be let out real quick, then we can go get some food. I was confused he wanted to eat since we never discussed this beforehand, so I said thanks, but I wasn't expecting to eat. Kyle said, no worries, we can just run to McDonald's real quick. Okay, fine by me, even if it's cutting into our time to chill. But I just reminded myself that he had just gotten out of work. Be patient. We get into his car, which was also nice, drove to the local McDick's. Once back at Kyle's, he ate while I sat across from him at the table. Okay, so far, conversation has been mostly about work and the type of people we dealt with that evening. Once he finished his food, he opened a bottle of red wine for us.
Okay.
And as he poured it, he was telling me about the winemakers and how to properly taste wine and yada, yada.
Yo, did you go after the sommelier?
I'm like, buddy, you just ate McDonald's with that cab. You ate that fancy.
Oh my god. He's like, it pairs nicely with a quarter pounder of cheese. Okay.
The meatiness of the cab coincides
well.
Regardless, we were drinking the wine and watching a show on Netflix, cuddling a little. We opened a second bottle and Kyle asked if I wanted to smoke some weed with him while we let the dog out.
I'm not going to lie. This sounds like my Kyle. It sounds like the Kyle from my past. I'm like, where are you from?
I said sure, but did note I was beginning to get a little buzzed. So, 18, I've been there when you don't know how to mix or whatever.
No.
Like,
Oh, absolutely not.
for me, I'm 39 and I still I choose one or the other.
Yes.
Am I going to have an edible and that kind of evening, or am I going to have wine and that kind of evening?
Yep.
But both is
Agree.
not an option.
No,
for me.
twisty
Too
town.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we smoked weed out back and looked at the stars and made small talk. I was pretty uninterested, though I was surprised at how high I was feeling, and it was really mixing with the wine my small body had consumed. I figured it was time to try to sober up a little, as I didn't want to get too sloppy. I asked to go back inside, making something up about being cold. Now, the back deck has a sliding door that led to a Four Seasons porch, and then there was a second sliding door going back into the house. I was pretty disoriented from being so cross-faded, and I forgot about the second slider door being closed.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I confidently walked up the steps so as not to look as fucked up as I felt, and I walked smack into the glass doors.
Honey bunny.
Bunny.
I was shocked because I hadn't even seen the door. It was so clean. I was so embarrassed, and Kyle just laughed at me. He didn't even ask if I was okay. I just ignored my embarrassment and fast walked to the bathroom. My forehead and nose were red, but I was otherwise okay. Went back out to the living room. We watched a little bit more TV while Kyle finished the second bottle of wine.
Damn.
We began making out on the couch, and I realized very quickly I don't like the way he kissed.
Oh. Ruined.
I tried to intentionally slow him down, but his tongue was hard. His mouth barely opened. He wasn't picking up on my cues.
Oh, he's just jabbing her with his tongue.
With his hard tongue. And here's a lesson. Okay, and this is one we all learn when we're 18. So she decides he wasn't picking up on her cues. I suggested we go to the bedroom. Now, we all learn that a bad kisser
It's not going to
picking up
no.
on your cues is going to do even worse when he's given full access pass. So shut
Right.
it down and peace out. But
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about like chemistry. It's like you have it or you don't. Physical chemistry.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And like if you don't have it,
there have been times where someone's like where it wasn't quite working, but they were skilled enough to pick up. They're like, oh, okay, and they changed. So like, I have had experience where people it might not have been a good physical match at first, but then they adjust or I adjust and then it works. But I don't think Kyle's gonna be that.
No.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he awkwardly picked me up and tried carrying me to the bedroom.
Look, let me tell you, that is only a move you do if you know you can pull it off. Because I swear to God, that would kill the mood so fucking fast if you try to pick me up and you can't carry me. Okay? That doesn't feel good for me.
He wasn't strong enough to get me up the stairs. I wasn't big, but he was tall and skinny, so he dropped me down hard on my feet.
No.
I follow him upstairs into the master bedroom. Huge, with an attached bathroom and a king-size bed.
This is mommy and daddy's room.
Why?
Don't do
why
it.
do people want to fuck on their parents' bed?
No.
Like,
Oedipal.
Why?
I jump on it and we both proceed to undress. Once I'm down to my thong, he stops me and pulls me in for another bad kiss, whispering, "Those are really cute undies." I gagged inside at the way he called my thong undies, as if I were a little girl, fucking weirdo. Despite all the warning signs, we did the deed. Afterwards, I went to the bathroom. By the time I got back, he was passed out asleep. I crawled into bed, slept as far away from him as possible, set an alarm for early morning so I could wake up before him. I quickly get dressed, slip out to my car, shooting him a text saying, "Left to go study, see you at work." Later that day, I called a different coworker who I was close with to gossip about Kyle with.
Oh, yeah.
I told him about
High restaurant industry.
Exactly. I told him about the weird night, and he gave me some surprising information that I did not know about Kyle.
Dish bitch.
We're listening.
First, he was not 24. He was 30, which isn't to say he was old, just a little older than I was expecting of someone I was casually hooking up with. Second, Kyle still lives at home with his parents.
Yeah.
Third, that was his parents' car.
Yeah.
Fourth, that was not his house, but the home of his childhood best friend's parents.
Well,
What?
why?
He was house sitting?
He was dog sitting for them while they were out of town for a week. I don't even know if they know we had slept, let alone fucked in their king-size bed.
Gross. Ew.
So yeah, sorry it was so long, but is my story of the time I ran into a door and learned the audacity of an immature man-child.
Oh,
Wow.
I don't like it. I really don't like that. Oh,
That made me itchy.
I'm weird, okay, about my sheets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not weird. Maybe this is common. I'm like, I am okay with my sheets being my sheets and my skin cells, my detritus being in my bed.
That's right.
Your
I
body
wash my
crumbs.
sheets.
Yeah.
But the idea of somebody else sleeping or doing things in my bed creeps me out.
Yeah, no.
It really skeeves me.
Yeah.
I
that
don't
just
mind.
me?
I gotta
I
be
don't
honest,
mind
I don't know
people
how-
sleeping in my bed. Like I wouldn't have a problem with that. If one
I
of you,
do.
if one of you were sleeping in my bed, I don't have an issue with that.
Well, I changed the sheets.
But other people,
Same.
but other
100.
people fucking
Nah.
in your bed
No.
on your sheets.
I want a whole house cleaner after that.
I don't like.
I want my
it.
whole house.
And it's nothing to
T to
say.
B.
Like even you guys could sleep in the bed, but I really would. I would
Yeah,
change
change
the
the
sheets.
sheets.
It's nothing against you.
No.
It's just like I don't know. I've seen way too many novas about like microscopic creatures and shit like that. That I'm like, I don't
want your microscopic creatures touching my microscopic creatures.
No tardigrade.
Listen.
Well, but
Okay,
then
to
then
that
I have
point,
a-
I
yeah.
also don't want to lay on your bed.
Right.
Because I
those
also-
are my tardigrades.
That is true. Okay,
Yeah.
so yes, I think
I
we
mean,
all have
on top of a duvet.
Yes.
Sure.
That's different. But I don't want to get under your blankies.
right because I don't know when you changed the sheets last, and
Correct.
so I wouldn't want to get under your blankets in your bed, Christina,
Right.
because I'm like, what if you and Erica just had sex that morning?
right.
You know, I'm like, I
Yes.
don't want
Yeah.
that. But you know, I will say I don't mind. I don't even know that I would if we were just sleeping, or if you were just sleeping in my bed. I don't know that I would feel like I needed to change the sheets because, like, I've slept in bed next to you, Cassie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, that doesn't bother me so much.
No.
But any
these are
kind
also,
of
that was at a hotel.
Right.
Brand new freshy sheets. You
Yes.
know what you're getting yourself into. That's
Right.
different.
yeah, I
Yeah.
suppose that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Than just
Yeah.
popping into my bed, which
Also,
Yes.
apparently,
I don't know.
the
I don't
other
know.
thing regarding sheets, apparently top sheets are canceled.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't do top sheets.
I
Love a top sheet.
A
Same.
top sheet.
Same.
I fucking love
Because sometimes a blanket is too much.
Exactly. But a top sheet.
But you got to cover yourself from the ghosts. You have to protect yourself
from
and
the demons.
Top sheet is what protects you from the demons. That's
I
right.
see.
Science.
No, but it's a Gen Z thing. They don't.
It's a millennial thing.
And they
millennials, because Gen Z aren't buying their own sheets. Millennials canceled the top sheet. Okay, I'll claim it.
That is
we canceled the top sheet.
And Chris just sleep with the duvet.
Yes.
To be fair, Chris has been wanting to cancel the top sheet since we've met.
Eric too.
He hates it.
He hates top
I just
sheet.
feel
like take your extra fabric over there.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's what Chris calls it.
Extra
fabric.
Yes.
I know.
Well, but here's the deal. I like a top sheet at a hotel.
Yeah.
Because then it's like a
Separating.
treat. It's like an extra treat. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, a fun treat. But like, I don't want, to me, it's excessive at home where I'm like, every time I make the bed, I have to fuck with this top sheet. Like it's too much. It's too much. I'm lazy. I don't need it. It's unnecessary. So I don't fuck with the top sheet at home. But when I'm at a hotel,
The top
I'm
sheet
like,
is a
ooh,
total
cozy.
different vibe from the duvet.
Yes.
It's just like I'm like blown away by people that don't fuck with top sheets.
And it protects my duvet because I don't think that a duvet gets washed on a weekly basis.
No, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, I have a
cover.
I do
Yes.
too, but I mean,
I got
it's
animals.
same, and I do. But to me, a duvet is every 2 weeks, not every week, right?
yeah.
But now
Top
that
sheets.
I did no top sheet this week, I'm like, I have to. Like, it grosses me out to not have that clean. It touches my body.
You fuck with a white duvet too. You
Yeah.
are playing with fire,
Amen.
girl.
Yeah, and all white sheets, bedding. Yeah, I don't know who I think I am.
No, I literally
You
can't.
fancy.
I don't know who you
not.
think you are either. Because I'm like, I really can't. I cannot do white bedding. I can't do it.
I can't do white anything. I'm gonna spill something on it. I'm gonna have like a surprise period.
Oh yeah, surprise periods aren't fun.
No, Anyway,
Oh, you sleep naked too, so
I
that's
also do.
danger.
I'm going
danger.
to
Will Robinson.
See, that's where white sheet comes in play because you can see what's been around you. Especially if you're sleeping naked. I don't fuck around with sleeping naked. What if something crawls up my hoochie? I don't like it. It scares me. That's not going to
that's the
happen,
reason.
but it freaks me out.
Keegan told me that here's what's going to happen. The big one is going to hit California.
Yes.
because it's inevitable.
And I'm going to have that top sheet wrapped around me.
Yes,
that's right.
Outside.
yes, yes.
Top sheet's going back on today.
Bare mins, Christina. You got to keep like some shoes next to the bed. All right, like if you at least
Always.
you got to be wrapped up in that sheet and have a pair of slippers on. Bare mins, okay? Like outside.
Oh my God. Wow.
Okie dokie. Well, this is a listener story that was written in. I wanted to save it for last because it's kind of heavy subject matter. So I am going to, off the top, give a huge trigger warning for sexual assault in this story. But I felt like it was an important one for us to tell. I know we've told similar stories on the podcast before. And while oftentimes this podcast, of course, we want it to be a fun place for you guys. We want it to be a safe space for you guys. We want it to be a place where we can gather and laugh and have a good time and joke and commiserate.
Superficial junk food.
Right. And commiserate about the more humorous things or things we can look back on in our dating lives and laugh at them. The reality is that sometimes dating is scary.
Yeah.
And sometimes the things that people go through on dates can be very scary. And we don't ever want to lose sight of that either.
Right.
So with all of that being said, I'm going to go ahead and tell this story. If you're very sensitive to the subject matter, I would suggest skipping over this one or just proceeding with caution.
Yeah. I think that in our show notes, we could put where the time is for the story ending and us going into. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So then you
do
can do
that.
is just check in the notes, pause here and check our show notes to find out where the story ends.
Yeah. Okay. So I considered this story a shame receipt for a long time. However, I know now that this isn't my shame receipt and I did nothing wrong, and this series of events is not my fault. At the time of this story, I was 22. I had just started grad school and was looking to date. On one of the apps I was using at the time was OkCupid. I know. I swear I didn't know how bad it was at the time. I end up meeting this dude named Danny. He seemed really sweet, nice, liked all the same things I did, and he seemed into me. We ended up texting a lot, and I don't remember noticing any red flags right away, but I got the vibe that he was clingy. Not really a bad thing right away because I get that way when I like someone. Also, the first meeting jitters are a thing. Mm-hmm. So we plan a date to meet at a local restaurant for dinner. Somewhere along the planning, he asks to pick me up. I decline because I don't want to be without my car, and he flips out. Red flag number 1. He demands to pick me up or he won't go out with me.
That's fucked up.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah, if a man does that to you, know that that's strange behavior and that he should respect the fact that like you feel
boundaries.
Yeah, that you feel like there need to be some boundaries there. Right. You know, like it's I feel like but
it's easy for us to blame ourselves, and I know where she's going with this. Like, you know, she maybe caved into this, and it's so easy for women, I think, especially to be like, well, it was my fault
100%.
because I went through with that, and blah blah blah.
100%. That's why I say it. I just want to say that it is weird behavior. If you feel like your intuition is telling you it's weird behavior, I feel like oftentimes we like to talk ourselves out of thinking that that's as odd as it is, but it is odd, and you can trust yourself if you feel like that.
Absolutely. If you think something's odd, you don't even have to justify it. You can be like, no, the vibe's off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I mean, we've all been in. I've definitely been in situation on dates where I've been talked into stuff that I'm not comfortable with, like all the time. Mm-hmm. He essentially throws a tantrum, and at this point, I should have just bailed. But against all judgment, I agree because I like him, and he just means well, right? The day of the date comes and I feel uneasy. Something about meeting up just isn't feeling right to me, but I ignore it and go on the date anyway. However, I preface the date by saying I don't feel well and might need to leave early. He says no problem, and I get into the car. At the time, I was living in a college city, and the downtown area had a large Mexican/Spanish speaking population. We're at a stoplight. You can hear some music playing and some people speaking Spanish. He looks at me and says, ugh, I fucking hate insert Mexican racial slur here.
God.
Christ.
Red flag number 2. I look at him with wide eyes and he says, oh, did I not mention I'm really racist?
Oh my God.
Or something like that. And he started going off about God only knows what. I knew immediately that this date was not going as planned, and I didn't know how I was going to get out of there. I was in a stranger's car with no way out. We get to the restaurant and he sits across from me and turns into the perfect gentleman, laying on compliments, telling me I'm beautiful, saying he's so happy to meet me in person. I'm nodding and smiling and praying for this date to be over. I order a side salad, literally because I want to get the fuck out of there. I don't remember the whole date, but I do remember telling me he wrote songs about me and took out a piece of paper with the lyrics. Oh. He asked if I wanted to hear him sing them, and I must have squeaked out some bullshit excuse because he decided not to put on a tableside performance. Thank God.
Oh my God.
So far, the only good thing that's happened tonight.
Jesus, right? After about 30 minutes, we finished eating. The service was the fastest I have ever had. They must have known what was going down and tried to get me out of there fast. P.S. Bless all you service industry for doing the Lord's work. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I tell Danny that I need to go home because I don't feel well. I offer to pay for my salad. He declines and pays for both of us. We walk back to the car, and as we're in the elevator up to the parking garage, he leans in to kiss me. I say I'm not feeling well and I don't want to possibly get him sick, but he kisses me anyway. How many red flags are we at? 5,000? That's her saying that, by the way. It's not me being.
Yeah, no.
We drive home in silence and we reach my apartment. He pulls into the parking lot and turns off the car. I tell him I want to go in alone and go to bed. He begs me to let him walk me to the door. I say no. I can tell he doesn't like this because his tone changes and he gets an edge in his voice. He asks me again and says he just wants to see me in safely, but he isn't really asking for permission. He's telling me. I say, okay. We get out of the car. He pushes me against the car to kiss me. I'm not even moving or kissing back. I'm just standing there smashed against his car, waiting for it to be over. We get to my door and I go to awkwardly hug him goodbye. And he says, well, I have to see your place now, don't I?
Oh my
and just stares at me. Why I didn't say no or yell or do anything, I'm not sure. Maybe I was scared. Maybe I thought he really wasn't so bad and I was being an alarmist, but I let him in my apartment. Pause. I know it's hard not to go back and think like about all of the things that you could have done differently. Like I know that, but you really shouldn't ever put that on yourself in any way, because so many people, specifically so many women, have been in that situation before. And when somebody is giving, like, your fight or flight response will kick off or freeze and you don't know what to do because you don't want to escalate the situation, you know. And I think a lot of times it feels like just go along to get along.
Yeah.
I wonder sometimes what this guy, like, if it comes up into his head, if he knows he's a fucking disgusting
I think that too
rapist,
sometimes.
Like, if he has to squash that down, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
No, they justify that. Well, no. I truly can't believe
that's
that.
why Promising Young Woman was such a fucking good movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just,
but I'm a good guy.
But I'm I'm a nice guy. I complimented her. I paid for her dinner.
I paid for her salad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But there is also a part of me that, like, it's predatory. Everything about the way he set this date up is predatory behavior.
Yep.
So it does make me wonder
if he planned
what
ahead
was
of
your
time.
plan.
Yeah.
Like, for you to throw a fit about needing to drive somebody so that you know that for sure you'll be able to be at her place later. Like, things like that, you know. I showed him the living space and pointed half-assed to my room. He asked if we could go in there. I said no. Let's just stay in the living room. He took my hand and dragged me to the bedroom. I'll say right now, trigger warning. I won't go into every detail, but he pushed me in the bed and began kissing me. I didn't mind it at first, but he got very into it very quickly. His hands were all over me, trying to pull my clothes off. I told him it was not okay. I was not okay with him taking my clothes off. He begged to do it anyway. I said okay. I said I didn't want to have sex as I had never had it before, and I would want it to be with somebody I was intimate with or I was dating. I didn't really want to do the one-night stand thing at the time. He told me, well, I want you to be my girlfriend, so this is fine. At this point, said, okay, we can do other stuff, but no sex. I didn't really want to, but I knew there was no way he was going to stop and felt that it was better to just get it over with than fight him. By the way, this is not consent.
Nope.
I'm going to just
No, it is not.
Nope.
say that. He asks if he can get naked. I say okay. He wants to finger me. I say okay. All of a sudden, I feel something that is not his finger inside me. He tells me, oh, I slipped, but we should just do it anyway since I'm here and you're going to be my girlfriend, right? I didn't say anything. He didn't have a condom. I convinced myself that I wanted this, that sex isn't a big deal, that it really doesn't matter. I didn't say no. I wasn't enjoying it. Isn't this what sex is? He finished. He left. I pretended it didn't happen. Over the next few days, he text bombed me. At this point, I get the timeline of events a little confused, but he tells me he loves me. He never loved me. He never said he wanted to be my boyfriend exclusively. It was just sex. Why are you upset? Saying he's upset and might hurt himself. Calling me names / saying I'm crazy. Telling me he went to the hospital because he had a heart attack and pretending that his friend had his phone. There is honestly probably more gaslighting and downright insane behavior that I am forgetting, but the gist is there. I ended up having a meltdown with 2 of my friends because he, quote, broke up with me, and I felt heartbroken because I didn't even like this guy. I didn't even tell them about the quote unquote sex. I think I was worried that he would be the only one to love me or like me or find me attractive, and the whole situation just broke me down. I took a break from OkCupid and dating for a while, and it took me a long time to come to terms with the fact that I was sexually assaulted. I wanted to share this story because I think it's important for survivors to tell their story on their own terms. It isn't always the scary person in an alley or that weird guy at the bar. It can be your date, your friend, a family member. For anyone who has been in a similar place, it's not your fault. You are not to blame for what someone else has done to you. Ladies, thank you so much for this podcast and for giving me a safe place to put this. I love you 3 so much, and if you read this on the pod, you can use my name, Deanna. So, sorry, I got like emotional, but I want to thank you, Deanna, so much for trusting us with your story and allowing us to share it because, unfortunately, I think it's all too familiar and it's something that a lot of people can relate to and have gone through themselves.
Yep.
And I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, I hate that I personally don't know a single female who hasn't been in some form of situation like that in their life. I really can't think of a person who hasn't had to go through that. And that is the reality of my worst date, is that we are cheeky and fun when it's like weird or whatever, but that is the worst date.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's reality.
And it's brave to tell your story, to claim it for yourself again, and to put it out there, and to realize that it's not your fault at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But my heart just breaks. I really wish that no one had to go through that, you know?
Yeah, me too. Me too. And kudos to you, and we give you love on your healing journey.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, so full disclosure, we took a little bit of a break. We needed just to take a moment, let that settle in before we jumped into the Tainted Love story this week, which I also have the Tainted Love this week. This is an interesting one. I'm a little nervous about
this one, so I'm excited.
It is not a murder story, and we've told stories that aren't murder stories before, but a lot of my notes kind of go in a couple different directions. So it'll be interesting conversation.
It's a journey. Okay, right. I'm ready. I'm buckled in.
We can thank the YouTube algorithm for this story. I was seriously trying to think of like what I wanted to do, and yesterday I was on YouTube and this popped up in my like suggested on the side, and I was like, wonder what that's about. It was like a 7-minute video. I'm like, I can watch that. So I did, and I was like, actually, this is kind of interesting. So
okay.
Clarence King was born on January 6th, 1842. Same birthday as Christina. Birthday twin, Capricorn energy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was born to a wealthy businessman, and his family was like old money Rhode Island wasps.
Yeah.
Okay. So Clarence's father passed away when he was 6, and so his mother raised him, and from an early age he had an interest in outdoor exploration and natural history, and eventually he went on to attend the Sheffield Scientific School, which was affiliated with Yale. So we went to Yale.
Yeah, no big deal.
Went to Yale.
Sounds a little waspy.
He studied physics and geology there, and then eventually went on to get his PhD at Harvard. So, you know,
you fancy.
Hitting up all of those rich guy schools.
Yeah.
During his time at these prestigious universities, he, of course, became very well connected in high American society. So one of his closest friends was Henry Adams, who's the descendant of John Adams and John Quincy Adams, and John Hay, who was Abraham Lincoln's private secretary and would go on to be the Secretary of State for 2 presidents. So these are the circles he's running in, right?
All right.
Very, very well connected, very well respected, and very famous within scientific circles and in the field of geology. He was even eventually appointed the first director of the United States Geological Survey, the very first one, because he was just mapping the world. In his 20s and 30s, he spent his time exploring the world and mapping out most of the western United States.
Wow.
So he wrote a lot of maps. Yeah.
That's rad.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
I'm the map.
I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. In about 1887 or 1888, the story goes that he was just walking around the streets of New York City when he saw this woman, and it was like love at first sight, kind of like lightning. Felt immediately drawn to this woman. And he had been this very eligible bachelor for a very long time in New York. But he decided that he was going to speak to this woman, right? Mm-hmm. But there was an issue. And that was that this woman was a Black woman. So Ada Copeland was born sometime in December of 1860, and she was an enslaved person in Georgia, just months before the state would go on to secede to the Union. So there isn't a lot known about her childhood, but historians tend to assume that it was pretty tumultuous, given the situation at that time. It was very unstable where she was. So as a young woman in the mid-1880s, she moved to New York and found work as a nursemaid. So when Clarence approached her on the street that day, he did not go up to her and say, "Hi, I'm Clarence King, famous geologist," right?
Can I show you
Let me get them digits. Let me get them numbers.
Can I get your number? Instead, he introduced himself as James Todd and basically told Ada, like, "Listen, I know I look white, okay? I have blonde hair and blue eyes, but actually, I am a light-skinned black man from the West Indies, and I work as a Pullman porter and a steel worker." Okay?
Okay.
So he comes in.
I'm going to say it's not a good way to start a relationship with
It's not the
fake
best.
name and background.
It's not the best. And I can only speculate that I've seen pictures of this man, okay? So I can only speculate that it may have taken some convincing for Ada to believe him. But all in all, I listened to an NPR interview with this woman who had written a book about this. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But she actually feels like it probably wasn't that much of a stretch. After all, all Pullman porters were black. So if this man is saying he's a Pullman porter, he must be black. And after slavery ended, many southern states had come up with the one drop rule, which basically said,
one drop of blood.
and like laws basically that said that if one of your 8 great grandparents is black, that you are black. So this led to a lot of white passing, but in general, black people identifying as white in society made the designations very, very fluid, right? Like racial designations were very fluid. While passing for white was very common, it was far less likely that a person of high society, a white man, would pass himself off as a black man. Right. So probably for Ada, she was like, I'm not going to question this too much. It's unusual. Why would you do that? Like, why?
Why you won the lottery? Why would you be like, I'm giving it away?
Exactly. Because black people did it in order to attain legal rights and privileges and social privileges. So like, why would you do it the other way around? So the two hit it off, and they dated for some time. And then they married in a friend's home in September of 1888.
Oh, damn.
And Clarence moved into Ada's house on the other side of the Brooklyn Bridge.
Still going by James at this point.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
My God.
Yes.
It's like off to work, honey, to
Bye.
pull things and then do. Oh, wow.
Yes. No, exactly. So as if their marriage wasn't interesting enough, he never told his wife his true identity.
My God.
He continued living by day as Clarence King, this established geologist and member of white social elite in Manhattan. And in the evening, he would change into his Pullman porter jacket, ride the bus home to Brooklyn, and meet his wife, with whom he ended up having 5 children.
Holy.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So when he was at home with her, to her and his family and everybody in this black neighborhood, he was known as a black man named James Todd.
Oh,
my mind is blown. Right
my
now.
mind is blown too, because I'm like, oh, well, eventually he's gonna come clean or whatever.
To his wife, who he clearly loves and
Yeah.
had 5 children with.
But isn't that a little bit of like control or a little bit of
It's not the best. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this story because
isn't that a way of him thinking she's, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, because
I
this
hear
story,
where your brain's going on that. Yeah.
this story is often framed as he passed as black in order to marry the love of his life. And I would be more on board with that if they were both in on it.
right.
Together.
That's right.
It feels weird to keep this secret. I don't know why you would do it. I could see why maybe you lied at first, but at some point it seems like you would
give up the ghost.
Right. Yeah. It's odd. So author Martha Sandweiss, who wrote a book titled Passing Strange about the relationship between Ada and Clarence and the history of the color line in America, she doesn't believe that Ada ever knew that her husband was black. Quote, marriage to a white man would have been very difficult. She would have been ostracized by other black people as well as white people she knew. Conversely, given the assumptions and prejudices of the age, marriage to a light-skinned African American would have seemed to her a step up in the world because of colorism at the time.
Sure.
So it would have been better for her to be married to a light-skinned black man than to a white man at this time. She also didn't seem to be concerned about concealing the relationship, which she may have done. She probably would not have let people in so much into her private life if she thought she was married to a white man.
And maybe he started out with this idea that I am going to tell her, and then it just got in too deep where he was like, this could ruin everything.
Right.
You know, like maybe he just thought like he wanted to bring her in on it at some point and was just like, I don't want to risk losing.
But I have to assume that like his job, they had like dinners or balls or I don't know,
and
whatever.
He didn't bring her around.
They just think he's just a bachelor.
Right.
So
weird.
In 1900, we know from a newspaper account that Ada gave a party in their home in Brooklyn, and it was covered by the black press. The black press showed up. And Sandweiss says, I simply don't believe that if she thought herself married to a white man, she would have allowed that kind of scrutiny into her private life.
Right.
Ironically, this party was a masquerade. And she says, if her husband was there, he was absolutely wearing a mask.
Wow.
So beyond this just being an interesting and unusual love story, I think the real conversation to be had is about the fluidity of race. Of the couple's 5 children, 4 of them lived to adulthood, 2 girls and 2 boys. The 2 girls grew up, moved into New York City, and passed themselves off as white women, marrying white men, each of the sisters swearing for each other on their marriage forms that the other was white. One of the daughters so feared giving birth to dark-skinned children that she adopted 2 white children rather than giving birth to her own kids.
Oh, man.
A few years later, the 2 boys registered for the draft for World War I, and both were assigned to all-black Jim Crow regiments. A few years later after that, they returned home. The boys returned home, moved in with their mother, and they designated themselves as, quote, mulatto on census forms. So it's very, very fluid. And I found it really interesting when looking into this story that the census forms went from allowing people of African descent to categorize themselves as black, mulatto, quadroon, or octoroon in 1890, and then in 1930 only allowing the designations of black or white with no possibility of mixed race, and this went on till the year 2000.
Wow.
So from 1930 to 2000, and I remember this because I had to fill things out.
Yeah.
And there
you had
was
to fill out both bubbles.
Yes.
Or other.
And sometimes they wouldn't allow you to fill out both bubbles.
Yeah.
So to this day, I mean, now when I just did the census, they do allow you to check multiple boxes now, but they didn't allow you to do that. And to this day, like when I filled out my vaccine information, I filled out other.
Yeah. Wow.
So Clarence and Ada remained married until 1901 when Clarence developed tuberculosis. Thinking warmer weather may cure him, he kissed Ada goodbye and set off for Arizona, where, unfortunately, he succumbed to his illness. Aww. On his deathbed, he penned a letter to Ada, coming clean about his true identity.
Oh, I'd love to be a fly on the wall when she opened that up.
Imagine.
Mm-hmm. And he got money, too. So...
Well, Kings Peak, Utah, Mount Clarence King, and Clarence King Lake in Shastina, California are named in his honor, as is King Peak in Antarctica. The U.S. Geological Survey Headquarters Library in Western Virginia is also known as the Clarence King Library. Yale would also carve his name in stone over an entryway at Branford Court, and a sculptor cast his image in bronze for the door of the U.S. Capitol.
Wow.
I know. Can you imagine, like, this is your husband and you had no idea? He kept this secret for 13 years.
Wow.
After he died, Copeland, Ada, who would later change her name to Copeland King, embarked on a 30-year battle to gain control of the trust fund he had promised her.
Get it, girl.
Yes. Because in that letter, he told her basically, like, I have money for you, and like this person is going to give it to you. Her representatives included notable lawyers Everett J. Waring, the first black lawyer to argue a case before the Supreme Court, and J. Douglas Wetmore, who contested segregation laws in Jacksonville, Florida. For years, Ada King received checks in the mail from a mysterious benefactor. She assumed that they came from John Gardner, who Clarence had mentioned in his final letter would be taking care of her. But she never found out what happened to the $80,000 that had been promised to her. In 1933, nearing the age of 70, she went to court to gain control of the money. She had received checks every year for 30 years, and only at trial did the name of the secret benefactor come to light. It was John Hay, who had been the personal secretary to Abraham Lincoln.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then when he died, his widow continued to send her checks, and then his daughter, Helen Hay Whitney, continued to send her checks.
Wow.
Yes. So John Hay and John Gardner were apparently the only two people in Clarence's life who knew about his double life.
You know, my Nana's maiden name is Hay. Ooh. And now I'm like, I'm going to do some family tree digging.
That's right.
I'm like,
find out if you're related to John Hay.
Fingers crossed.
The case made tabloid headlines. Some of the headlines read, "Colored woman sues as widow of society man." Get ready to be mad.
Already.
Mammy bears life as wife of scientist.
No.
Old negress suing estate reveals love.
I'm just like so over like anybody hating anybody. It's so stupid to me because it's like the LGBTQ plus community. It's like that has been around forever, and it's just like people are people, and
get over yourself. Dude.
Makes me. I just don't understand why.
Why we're still having these conversations. I know.
I don't get it. It's 2021. Why?
Who has the energy?
Why?
Like, honestly, I think that every time I'm just like, I don't have the time, the energy to expend on hating someone for no reason. There's many reasons to hate people that are legitimate.
People for lots of things. The color of their skin is just so
it's
irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's so irrelevant.
Yeah.
It doesn't make them different at all.
Yeah. Eventually, in 1933, the court determined that Clarence King had died penniless. Now, there were bouts throughout his life where he was borrowing money from like John Hay and his other friends because he was getting himself into debts. So it's unclear whether or not like he didn't have any money, or because he said in the letter to her that he did. He had $80,000 that he was going to give to her. Or if the courts just didn't want to give her money.
Wow.
You know, it's difficult to say. So there was no money forthcoming to her regardless. She lost her case and the checks stopped. Wow. Still, she lived comfortably enough in the home that John Hay's generosity allowed her to buy in Queens, New York, for another 30 years. On August 28th, 1964, she watched on television as Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. She died that same year at the age of 103 and was one of the last of the former American slaves.
Wow. Dude, my whole body has chills right now. That is
Thanks, YouTube.
Wild story. I cannot.
Yes. Yeah, when you think of like, I don't want to say famous, but notable interracial couples, like the one that comes to mind is the Lovings.
Of course.
But
this was the 1800s, right? Like this was the 1880s.
And consensual, which is really nice because a lot of the interracial couplings from around that time were not consensual. Right. There was an article in the New York Times I was reading just yesterday. Was it New York Times or Washington Post? Anyways, it was two women whose like great grandmother, they both shared the same one in Fairfax County, Virginia. And mixed race.
Yeah.
So they both had different reactions to trying to like find out information or find records or any information about this kind of thing. And B, they both had different, like one of them came from it was like they must have really loved each other because they had kids together, and the other one was like, fuck you, she was enslaved, there ain't nothing consensual about it.
One of these days we'll do Sally Hemmings. I think that's an important story that needs to be told, because that is how it's framed. There's an entire movie which who I don't remember who was in that. I thought it was
Julia Roberts,
Tendiwa Newton, who changed her name. Tendiwa, which is awesome. Took her name back, but I don't think it was her actually. But there was a whole movie in which Sam Neill plays Thomas Jefferson, and it is framed as this like love story. And you can watch videos of descendants of Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings talk about it, and they of course don't see it that way, but they are also trying to stake their claim as descendants of Thomas Jefferson, and they're going to they're trying to go to these family reunions and things like that, and they're like, we get ostracized from like the white side of the family, but it's like, well, this is the truth of the situation.
That is the American.
That's right.
That is part of our history. That is. I mean, you've talked about it when you've done your 23andMe, how much European ancestry is in your background. I'm interested to see what mine is.
Yes, you should definitely do it. According to my 23andMe, and I want to do ancestry as well, but according to my 23andMe, I'm 58% European, and the rest of it is African. It's split just European and African.
Right.
And I'm not really that surprised. I mean, that it's more European than it is African, because most African Americans have some European in there. Yep. Like most do, because of these situations, because of all of the rape that happened within enslaved communities. So that's just the way it is.
I am really like sitting on that story. I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, he lied to her. He lied to her.
He lied to her, and he maybe really loved her. Like that's the thing, is it's complicated.
It is complicated,
and without having personal accounts of their life together, it's really difficult to say, because you said like it was consensual, and like yes, the marriage was consensual, but. Yeah. What happens when you don't really, when someone's lying to you?
Yeah, exactly. Because she
didn't know his real name.
Not consent to marrying a white man named Clarence. She consented
to marry a black man named James.
Yeah,
yeah. Right. So it's like it's hard, because I'm sure there was love there.
Yeah,
I'm sure there was love there, but at the same time, like you can't just lie.
You can't love a lie.
Yeah,
it's love a lie.
Yeah, I mean, and there's weird stuff there that I didn't want to get into either, about like he kept a lot of journals about his time in like traveling in like South America, and how he's such a complicated figure, because he spoke a lot openly as Clarence King about how he believed that America needed to mix race, and like that was going to be America's saving grace, and all those things, and things that other people would not have been speaking openly about in those circles as a white person. But then also in his own journals, I feel like maybe there was a little bit of fetishization of brown women as well. So it's very complicated.
Yeah.
It's confusing,
But it was like the opposite of the message that was popular in that time, which was very much eugenics.
And you stick to your own, and like we have this one drop rule in order to keep like white families as pristine as possible, and things like that. So it's a very interesting story, and I was only able to find one photo of Ada Copeland. I'll send it to you, Cassie.
Oh, okay, great.
But it's her in her older age with one of her sons at a party. I didn't find any pictures of her when she was younger, or anything like that, or them
of course
together.
We wouldn't have any pictures, I guess, of them together. With them.
I am like fascinated too by her longevity, and I personally, I wish that I had the opportunity to talk to more people who have been alive that long.
Yeah,
because I just think
you've seen some shit.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah. I I used to love like talking to my Gigi, you know, who made it, you know, into her almost 90, and it's fascinating to hear stories from like the 30s and the 40s and everything.
That's one of my biggest regrets, is that I didn't do an oral history with my grandparents. Like I had always wanted to like record them talking about their lives. And like my great grandparents as well. Like my great grandpa passed away at like 90 something. And my great grandmother on my dad's side passed away, you know, in her late 90s as well. And I really wish I had like sat them down and just like, tell me everything you remember and record it all and have it in their voice. And like, you know, that, because those stories are priceless, you know, and as you get older. So I can't imagine what her stories must have been like.
Between the 1840s, or no, she's born in the 1860s and 1960s.
Wow.
Stop it.
In Georgia. She was born in the 1860s in Georgia.
My Nana was born in 1912, and she made it all the way up through the 1990s, almost 2000.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I mean, she grew up on a horse farm. Like, they raised horses for the horses and buggies.
Wow.
She were life pre-car.
Wow.
And even like computers were coming out by the time she was, and I'm like, that has to be the wildest thing.
Yeah,
that
you know
has
what?
to be the wildest life.
I'll tell you, you should watch, because I watched it last year at the beginning of the COVID lockdowns. They did a PBS had done an American Life or American Experience, whatever that is, about the influenza pandemic, like 1916. Or 1918, whichever year that was. But it was fascinating to watch these people talk about, and they were interviewing people who had lived through that, and like what that was like. People who had lost family member, like their whole families, or had it themselves. And
that's why I'm convinced we're going into another roaring 20s.
Oh, 100.
History repeats itself 100%.
Yes. And I'm going ham. You better believe it. Like I am going
Charleston the fuck out of life.
God, yeah. Can we please jitterbug all over this motherfucker, please? Like,
you know what? One thing I'm not going to do though, flapper haircut is
not
flattering on me.
Neither It doesn't. Ooh, no. I got a big chin, so I don't need anything that's going to point
to
a straight line to it. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
no.
Yeah, I just end up looking like a Dutch boy. Like the paint can.
I had that haircut, and that's what I'm so worried about. Eric's going to see that in a couple of weeks. My parents have that like big and framed, and I'm like,
please. No. Okay, 100%. You need to send us a photo of your parents' photo in your living room. Like 100.
My parents, God bless them. God bless my parents. So there are so many pictures up in the house. That is the artwork that is in my parents' house.
Oh, yeah.
Do they have like paintings? Nothing? No. Do you know what they have? They have framed marquees of the shows that I was in at Shadowbox.
That's cute. That is cute. Freaking adorable. Actually. That's so cute. You know what's embarrassing that my parents have? My parents have a painting of my brother's face. Huge. It's huge when I tell you, like, I will take a picture of it. I'll have my brother take a picture and send it so I can send it to you guys. It is it's weird. I love them, but I'm like, it's weird.
If I ever had kids, I'd do the same fucking thing. What else are you doing if you're not a parent, like embarrassing your kids?
That's true.
My parents have, so there was a time, like when I first got out of high school, like early aughts, in which everybody did glamour shots.
Oh God. Yes.
And when I tell you that I have a full on glamour, and my parents have these pictures framed in their.
Where is it?
If I don't see your glamour
Where
shot immediately, if not sooner, my head is gonna explode.
Did you have a boa? Did you have a boa?
Of course, I had a boa. Don't be crazy. Of course, I had a boa.
So excited.
Did I have a leather jacket with a pop collar?
Can we
why did they make us look 90?
Photo shoot? Can we please do glamour
Yes.
shots.
Soft filter.
Yes. Only if Cassie does my hair in the most like 80s
Yes.
drastic way.
Curl my bangs up, curl them down.
Oh my
tease
God.
them.
Yes.
Oh,
and it's just a real soft
lighting.
filter.
Very
Just a real,
soft
maybe
lighting.
a mirror.
A lot of
below
blush.
us. A lot of blush. A popped leather collar.
If I don't wear
and a
something
lean-
off the shoulder, I swear to God.
I am so excited. I want
Me
the
too.
glamour shots
Wait,
right now.
Do you know what one of Chris's first jobs was out of high school? Because he went to school for.
it was
He
working.
worked at
Yes.
a Glamour Shots.
Yes.
I bet the stories
Could
he
you?
could tell. The stories. Get him on stereo. Tell them stories.
Oh my God. Well, what are you guys watching this week?
Well, I mean, the only thing other than YouTube and Potomac, I did start Into the Storm,
The Q. Yeah.
the QAnon documentary. Don't really want to go into it too much. I only watched the first episode.
It's just
don't.
really
It's
infuriating.
it's a hard
for a lot
watch.
of different reasons, and it's like we would need our own podcast episode.
Yes.
To
Yeah, it's a hard watch for me
I don't
personally,
really
and like
recommend it.
I have only watched the first episode, but I can say right now I don't know that it's. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. I don't know if it's for me. That's it.
Yeah,
Life's too short to watch something you don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. So I haven't been able to watch it yet because I happened to watch the trailer just as Eric was leaving to go out of town for a couple of days. And he's like, oh my God, you have to wait to
Wait
watch
for
it.
me.
And I'm
Got
like, ugh. They just put it up on Netflix called Why Did You Kill Me?
What?
Yes. Watch the trailer. It is a mother
Okay.
that like it looks like she lost a daughter and she uses her other preteen daughter to stalk this gang on MySpace to find her daughter's
Is it
killer.
a real? Is it a documentary?
Yes.
Oh, I'm scared. I'm scared.
Guess
you
what?
guys.
I'm
Series.
watching as soon
Why
as
did you kill me? And so she uses
Okay.
just watch the trailer.
I'm scared.
It looks like a
Keegan,
journey.
When the boys are watching their sports this afternoon, I'll make sure I put down a nice
A new sheet.
a new top
sheet.
we can lay in my adjustable bed and watch Why Did You Kill Me?
Why did you kill me? Dude, first of
Girl.
all, brilliant title. I'm like,
Yeah. Tell me more.
I'm all ears.
Tell me more.
thanks. It's been a while since I've had a good
Yep.
true crime doc.
Ready. I'm ready.
So ready. So yeah. Other than that, I haven't watched like anything this week.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
I saw the trailer for the new Octavia Spencer and what's her name? Melissa McCarthy movie.
Oh yeah.
That looks
Yeah,
cute.
yeah.
They have
Yeah, it
a
looks
cute friendship. Have you seen
love
like
it.
the pictures of people have been posting like that they've been friends for over a decade, and there's like pictures of them together for like the last 15 years. I'm
It
like,
looks
oh!
cute. It looks super cute. And now that I've seen The Shape of Water,
Oh.
I got to be honest, Octavia Spencer is holding a whole new spot in my heart.
She's a queen.
I love
She's
her.
a queen.
I love her.
Oh,
But,
yeah, if you
I
guys
watched-
aren't Patreon followers, you definitely want to hear our Patreon episode on The Shape of Water.
Yes.
So get on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched this week. So last time we recorded, I was able to spend that afternoon watching some Real Housewives of Dallas. So I watched. I did
I
this.
thought you meant Dallas, the
Yes.
TV show.
Dun,
I was like,
dun, 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 dun. I have no clue. Never seen that show.
That sounded right to me.
Yeah, I think so. Or was that like Dynasty or something? I have no
Same
clue.
difference.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I did the Keegan method, which was to watch a few episodes and go right into the
How'd
messy.
that work?
messy.
Did we unlock Housewives?
We did. It is a method that is fully
Get right into the drama.
just really good. It's a well executed. They're going to
Nice.
cover everything in the end.
Nice.
So
Yeah, everything that's important because
you know what?
there's
I
a lot of filler.
When
in
I
those-
get home, I'm going to do that with Potomac.
Okay.
do it. I mean, Potomac gets messy.
I don't
like
love-
these women are messy, like real messy.
Dallas
Yeah.
is fucking messy.
Oh Lord.
Ooh.
I
I've
mean,
heard.
Okay, they have a girl who is a self-proclaimed carny.
oh,
Shit
oh,
is wild.
you've
Did you
piqued
not-
my interest.
You did not see me texting you guys all the mess.
Oh.
Messy.
So somebody's got to take one for the team and check out New Jersey.
I'm going to do
love
it.
New
I am
Jersey.
going to do it. I think I'm going to like it more than Potomac. I'm just invested in Potomac
If
now.
you like
That's
Atlanta,
all.
you'll love the New Jersey mess.
Okay, good.
New Jersey is the
I
right
might
kind of
dive
messy
in.
for Atlanta. It's kind of that. It's the oh, we're wealthy, but it also feels much more attainable.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I want mess from people who have other things going on.
Oh, they got
you
a
know
lot
what I
going
mean?
on.
Like I don't want all of your mess to be
Well,
centered
you know
around
the whole
like
Judice thing. I mean, like those two ended up going to jail.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm excited. Did you see my eyes just light up? Okay.
Oh yeah, that's New Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I say skip Potomac. I gotta be honest.
Okay.
Well, listen, do you. Check out Potomac if you want. I watched the first season and I thought it was stupid.
It
just felt
better
dumb.
after the first season
That's
because
what I
they
hear.
learn they learn what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't say it's not as good as Atlanta. So I haven't gotten that Atlanta high off Potomac yet. It's just a good thing to have on in the background while I'm doing other things. But
Yeah.
all housewives are like that. I feel like they're good
Yeah.
like filler background shows.
It's very difficult for me to just sit and watch
yes.
it.
Yeah.
I need to
I
be
have
doing
to be
things.
doing
Yeah.
other things. It's just
Yeah.
a weird thing to have a TV show on, but it is a vibe. It's
Yeah.
a vibe.
Well, 'cause you
Sometimes-
know-
But you don't need to focus.
You know when the music changes and the volume escalates,
You're
that's
like,
when you need to pay attention.
Come back in.
Other than that, you can be making a drink. You can be like sweeping the floor. You can be cleaning the litter box. Like you don't have to be focused on it. Which is why it's been the only thing that I've been watching lately because
Yeah.
I'm like I need something that I can have on while I'm doing other stuff.
Working from home and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you have something for us to watch, stories to tell, you just want to reach out and talk to us, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com. We love you guys so much.
So much.
So much.
Cheers.